How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and recently there were some buffs announced to several exotic armor pieces. Some of those exotics include the Stag, Graviton Forfeit, and Precious Scars. So today I thought I'd make an easy guide on how to complete the Legend Empty Tank Lost Sector on the Tangled Shore. Currently it's dropping helmets, so maybe you can get your hands on a good roll for one of those soon to be buffed exotics. In this video I will be showing you a full run on all three classes. For each class I will be using the same kinetic and energy weapon, but I will use a different exotic heavy for each run. Before I get into it, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, so for my Warlock run I went with Chaos Reach and Geomag Stabilizers. For my kinetic weapon I have the Survivor's Epitaph for Overload Champions, but you can use whatever kinetic hand cannon you want. For my energy weapon I have the Arctic Haze Solar Auto Rifle. I'm using this for barrier champions, and because it does solar damage it will get a 50% damage boost in this Legend Lost sector. If you want to, you can swap this out for a solar anti-barrier scout rifle. Then for my heavy weapon on my Warlock run I'm using Sleeper Simulant. Then the subclass I'm going to be using in my Titan run is Middle Tree Striker and Cuirass of the Falling Star. For my heavy weapon here I went with Heir Apparent. Lastly, for my Hunter run I went with Bottom Tree Arc Strider with Raiden Flux. And for my heavy weapon here, I went with Xenophage. Now, all three of the heavy weapons that I mentioned benefit from that 50% solar damage boost. The only thing that changed is the ammo mods depending on which heavy weapon I chose. Now I'm going to show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. I do want to mention that you don't have to use a specific heavy weapon for a specific class. You can choose whichever one you want to. I just wanted to demonstrate that they're equally effective. I am offering live commentary in this video to give you some tips along the way. Now, let's get into it. Alright, right off the bat there is going to be an Overload Champion right here. I'm going to go for the stun immediately, and I'm going to sleeper it twice, and that should easily be enough to take it out. In this room, I'm going to try to take on each enemy one by one. That way, multiple enemies don't have a vantage point on me at once. To get a better position, I'm going to head over here. Take out some of these vandals in the distance. Now, I am using an auto rifle. If you're using a scout rifle, you should be able to more easily take out enemies in the distance. I just wanted to use something different for my anti-barrier weapon, and I wanted to practice a bit with one of my auto rifles since anti-barrier auto rifles are going to be the main weapon choice for next season. So there are some more enemies that spawn in the back over there. What I'm going to prioritize next is the barrier champion, so what I'm going to do, go for one sleeper shot, swap to my auto rifle, swap back to sleeper after I break the barrier, and that should easily take the champion out. Next I'm going to peek through this crack and go for some of these dregs and that vandal. If you are using a scout rifle, you can take out the vandals in the back from here. If you're using an auto rifle like I am, you can push forward over here. Didn't quite get that enemy. There we go. And when this room is cleared out, we're going to head back to this council and activate it. At that point, there will be an arc shielded captain here. You can either stick and fight it, you can use sleeper, break its shield with an arc grenade, or you can just try to skip it. In this area, we're going to have some thrall right at the beginning. Towards the end of this area, you're going to have a few war beasts. One more war beast to worry about. And now we're going to be entering the boss arena. But first we're going to have several enemies to take out, including a few more champions. So take the enemies out in the middle of the room. Then off to the left hand side there's going to be an overload champion as well as several other enemies. I'm going to throw a grenade over there when I see enemies spawning. Then I'm going to stun the champion. Or try to. and sleeper it twice. From there, I'm going to head up here and get ready for the next wave of enemies on the right hand side, where there will be a barrier champion. And try to take these war beasts out before they become a problem for me. And there's the champion right there. So what I'm going to do, peek for a sleeper shot, swap to my auto rifle, break the shield, and then swap back to sleeper. As you can see, there is going to be a barrier champion up by the boss. First thing I'm going to do, sleeper that, break the shield, sleeper again, and I'm going to go for my super. As you can see, my super made quick work of the boss. If you want to, you can take out those few enemies, or you can run past them like I did. And there we have it. That's a platinum completion of the empty tank legend lost sector on a warlock. Now I'm going to show you a full run on a titan and a hunter. Alright, just like my warlock run, there's going to be an overload champion right away. So I'm going to go for the stun and pull out heir apparent. I should easily be able to take it out before it's unstunned. Then in this room, I want to pick off enemies one by one. I didn't see that vandal over there. I'm going to use this as cover on my left and shoot any enemies that I can from this vantage point. When I'm no longer easily able to take enemies out from there, I'm going to head off to the right side of the room, then pick off enemies on the left side of the room. After that, I'm going to prioritize the barrier champion. So I'm going to heir apparent it for a little bit. When it's about 2/3 health, I'm going to wait for it to barrier, break that, and then pull out heir apparent again to finish it off. I have plenty of ammo, so I should be able to take out some of these enemies, especially some in the distance. Looks like I've cleared most of the room out, so now I'm going to interact with this council. And that will spawn an arc shielded captain. I'm going to go ahead and just take it out. That way I didn't have to worry about it killing me as I tried to run by it. If you feel brave enough, you can of course just run by it. We're going to have a couple thrall here. And then a few war beasts after that. One more around the corner. And now we're approaching the boss arena. So I'm going to clear the enemies out in the middle here. Then head off to the left-hand side where there's going to be several enemies that spawn out of this doorway, including an overload champion. When I see enemies spawning, I'm going to throw a grenade there. I'm going to go for the stun on the overload. Pull heir apparent out. And take it out. When that overload is down, I'm going to head off to the right-hand side. There's going to be some war beasts over here and a barrier champion. Make sure to hide from the barrier champion's attacks. I'm going to pull out heir apparent. Do some damage. Wait for it to barrier. Just like that. I couldn't damage it because it fell back behind that darkness barrier. So I'm going to wait for it to barrier again. And it looks like that's going to keep happening, so I'll just wait patiently. Now I shouldn't have any problem with it. There we go. Now it's going to be time for the boss fight, so I'm going to prioritize this champion first. Do that. Heir apparent. Wait for the barrier. And just like that. That was a close one. Of course, if you feel comfortable, you can always go ahead and super that champion instead, but I'm going to use my super on the boss right now. Just like that. And now I can sneak past these enemies, hopefully, and head to the chest. And there's a platinum completion of the empty tank Legend Lost Sector on a Titan. Now all I have left to show you is a run on a Hunter. This run is going to be similar to my Warlock and Titan run. As you can see, the Overlord champion right at the beginning. Trying to take out any of these enemies right at the beginning. Looks like enemies are hiding more than anything at this point, so I'm going to head off to the right hand side. Clear out the left hand side. And now I'm going to go for the barrier champion, so I'm going to pull out Xenophage, pop a couple shots off on that champion, break the barrier, switch back to Xenophage. I'm going to use this gap here to take out any remaining enemies on the right hand side. Use the Xenophage there and there. The room should be cleared out, so what I can do now is interact with this council. Again, that'll spawn an arc shielded captain. I'm just going to take that out with 3 Xenophage shots. As usual, we're going to have a few Thrall down here, 2 there, and then 3 that will run at you around this corner. There will be 1 War Beast in an open cage, and then 3 right over here. Once I'm in the boss arena, I'm going to clear out the middle of the room. Then immediately head to the left-hand side of the room. Wait for enemies to spawn out of here. I'm going to throw a grenade. And I'm going to stun this Overlord champion. When those enemies are cleared out, on the right-hand side, there's going to be some War Beasts and a Barrier Champion. I'm going to try to clear the War Beasts out as quickly as possible. Wait for the rocket. Use Xenophage to weaken the Barrier Champion, and finish it off with Xenophage after I break the barrier. Now I'm going to show you a little trick with this super. You can actually stun lock barrier champions and easily take them out just like that. Now I'm going to go for the boss. Light, heavy. I did almost die here. If you're uncomfortable going for the boss immediately like that, you can of course go for the champion and the other enemies first, and then the boss after the fact. And that's it for my platinum completion of the empty tank Legend Lost Sector on a Hunter. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.